The Bibb County Sheriff's Office is investigating a shooting that took place Wednesday morning at the Citgo gas station on Shirling Drive in Macon. The call came into the Macon-Bibb Emergency 911 Center at 11:57 a.m. When deputies arrived, 18-year-old DeCario Cobb was found unresponsive with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead on the scene from his injury. Around 1 p.m., BSO released this image of a person of interest obtained by the business surveillance system. Minutes after that image was released, this happened while WGXA News was on scene.
Deputies have broken the tape and they are now in their car and they are speeding down Shirling Drive, headed towards the liquor store. They are off. Several of the deputies' cars just took off.
At the time, Sergeant Christopher Williams encouraged anyone with information about what led to the shooting to reach out to BSO.
No matter how big, how small the information is, it may help in reference to solving this investigation that our violent crimes unit are currently investigating. As I stated, right now we're in the early stages of the investigation.
One lucky lottery player won $200,000 in Unadilla after Wednesday night's Powerball drawing. According to the Georgia Lottery, the lucky ticket was purchased at the Flint River Grocery at 2450 Pine Street in Unadilla, which matched 4 of the 5 white ball numbers and the Powerball. And since the player chose the Power Play option, the $50,000 prize was quadrupled. The Powerball jackpot, however, has yet to be won. The next Powerball drawing is on Saturday with an estimated jackpot of $1.5 billion, the 5th largest in the game's history. According to Powerball, the odds of winning the jackpot are 1 in 292,201,338, but the odds of winning any prize are 1 in 24.87. And a former Macon department store is now showing off its new restoration with a big bright sign. The Joseph and Neil store sign was officially installed atop the new Neil Loft Apartments at 462 Cherry Street. The former building was demolished in December of 2023 to make way for the redevelopment. The lofts are expected to welcome its first residents next year.
Shop on fire behind a brick house on Clover Street. Those crews got there to find the shed engulfed in flames with its roof caved in, and we're told 39-year-old Brian Newman may still be inside. The chief said they had yet to locate Newman's remains. The cause of the fire remains under investigation.
She hear me driving in the car talking about why do I go down 96 past before I get to Houston County School and see a vape store before I get to the school, walking distance from the football field. And then you can go all across, you can go to Kroger, and you see slot machines inside of Kroger.
Pastor Tony Loudon says he has traveled across the world and has seen these same elements hurt communities. He says these businesses don't just impact neighborhoods, they can also target specific populations.
I just want to say that I believe that whoever sits on planning and zoning committee, whether it's the city or the county, whatever 20-year plan that we have for Houston County, we should take notice that there are people that prey, P-R-E-Y, on our military people. You can go to Okinawa, Japan, and walk right outside the base, and you'll see liquor stores, bars, things that come into those communities to do nothing but get at our veterans and get in their pockets. It's starting to happen here in Warner Robins and Houston County.
As of Tuesday afternoon, a moratorium has been put in place for 180 days on the issuance of license and permits for liquor stores and vape shops, barring the acceptance of new business license applications. This means no liquor store or vape shops will be approved during that time. However, Houston County Board of Commissioners Chairman Dan Perdue says the moratorium will not stop at least one new liquor store from opening.
There are 3 applications that are in various stages of their application. One has already been heard by the board and approved, so clearly that will be issued.
Perdue says the other 2 applications have not yet been heard by the board, and it's unclear what the outcome will be. Still, he says, commissioners heard from the community and agreed action was necessary. In the meantime, Loudon challenged commissioners to consider the broader impact.
I suggested to you I wouldn't want a vape store near my school where my daughter's growing up. I just wouldn't. We are better than that. And some of our gas stations are looking like our liquor stores. We are better than that. And so we have to also ask ourselves the questions on our first responders, the pressure that we put on them, the more alcohol and things that we put in our communities, the stress that we put on them to be able to fight major crimes in our communities and keep us safe. We also have to start thinking about our juveniles, that we make this available for them like it's okay.
Thankfully, it won't last for long. We're actually going to see the first day of winter this Saturday, but it certainly won't feel like it with how warm it will be. But first, we'll have to get through some of this rain that's coming our way throughout the remainder of today. A few showers just about an hour or so ago made its way through Lawrence County up towards Johnson, and a few other over into Telfair in the southern portions of Lawrence County, but really not seeing anything significant at the moment, and it's just a few showers just to the west of our viewing area. But as we zoom out, we're going to be watching more of that rain that's going to be off towards our west over in Alabama and Mississippi, and a little bit of it down in the Gulf. And this is what we're going to be primarily watching, because as it makes its way northward, it'll be making its way over into middle Georgia. So we'll take it hour by hour, seeing by around 9 a.m., seeing a few more showers starting to pop up across the board. It's maybe a little bit of a lull in the late hour mornings before we see more of a widespread chance for that rain as we head towards just about midday, or if you're going to take a late lunch, you'll probably run into some of that rain. Could be a few spots with some heavier rain out there, especially as we trek throughout the remainder of our afternoon. Starts to get a little more on and off. Not expecting a complete washout by any means. Right now, totals have been fluctuating anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to maybe just 1/2 of an inch in certain isolated spots with those heavy downpours, possibly just a little bit more. But once we get towards the late stages of today and heading into early tomorrow, most of it will start to clear on out. But you're going to notice as that front begins to push on through, we can start to see a couple more showers just before it gets on out of here. So if you happen to be a very early riser or an early commuter, you could run into just a couple of showers before we start to clear on out as we head into our Friday morning to thankfully end our work week on a pretty positive note. But once we make it through today, not going to be expecting very big rain chances in the foreseeable future, which is always some great news, especially as we're heading closer and closer towards those holidays, just Christmas a week away. But how does our temperatures get affected by any of this rain today? Well, it's going to be in those upper 50s to even those lower 60s, even with all of that rain coming on through. Primarily still going to have more of that southerly flow, bringing some more of that moisture and that warmth from off the Gulf. But we're going to start to notice that front moving on through in those early morning hours. So those morning lows will be a little warmer than we've seen from earlier this week. So not everyone's going to feel a little bit of those effects by tomorrow morning. It'll be kind of split in half, maybe up towards the northern and the western counties, starting to see some of those lower temperatures, and then off towards the south and over towards the east, a little bit of a warmer start. Because once we start to get past 8 a.m., things will start to warm back up to those upper 50s and those lower 60s. And then as we head towards Saturday morning, they'll start to flirt closer with those freezing temperatures once again. But once we make it through our Friday and that Saturday morning, temperatures look to be above average. This time of year should be right around 61 degrees. But even as we head towards our Christmas outlook, it could be a pretty nice holiday season out there. And we're going to see that in terms of our Christmas day, could even be flirting with just 70 degrees. But across the board, first day of winter heading on up close by on Sunday, high of 66 before a high of 69 on Wednesday for Christmas Eve.